Welcome back to the COG Weekly podcast, Season 4, Episode 13.
Episode 13, we are back
Yes.
for the second increment of time that we are trying to record this episode. It has been a hassle trying to figure out all of the Wi-Fi things that, it's just got to be California, doesn't it? They just the Wi-Fi over there is just struggling.
The Wi-Fi just does not work over in California.
It's outrageous. We need to have a talk with the governor or some sort of thing to try and get some better bandwidth over to the UCLA campus. But until then, we have switched platforms to try and make it work as best as possible. We also kind of like what this new platform is providing for us in regards to layout and some other things, but do know that we are working on figuring it out, on short notice right now, and then also in the future, possibly using this more. So please give us feedback on whether you like the new layout of the visuals that we're bringing to you guys, and also with this new platform, we can do a lot more with it. So do expect that there will be more things coming in the future in regards to layout, how things look, etc., etc. But just bear with us as we get through that for the first time on this new platform. But yes, this episode is a very important one. It's one that is sought after by many during the beginning of the Premier League season. A lot of people do it before the season starts, a lot of different podcasters. And you can scoff at it, you can laugh at it because maybe we weren't on top of it. But I prefer to view it in a way of we wanted to see how the first couple games would play out. Now we're 7 match weeks in, around there. And we can sort of see how the teams are playing. We're not even close to being halfway through the season. We're not even close to being a quarter of the way through the season. Maybe we're relatively close to that actually, but not quite there. But we do get a good idea, a relative sense of where these teams are currently and where they might be at the end of the year. So today we are going through 1 through 20, or should I say 20 to 1, our Premier League predicted table. Me and Mac will each have different predictions, and we are starting from the bottom because we always do. Start from the bottom. Now we're here on a new platform.
Nice. Yeah.
And so, nice. Mac, just start us out with the 20th team that you have, the team that is getting relegated for you.
First team, I'd say it's not really going to change, or it didn't change from the beginning of the season, and it's Bournemouth. It's the team that sacked their manager the earliest. I really haven't seen much at all throughout the season so far from them, and I think they're definitely the weakest out of the newly promoted teams. And then as far as other relegation candidates, I feel like they are the most, most likely, and they really don't. I can't point to a single part of their team where I'm like, they're good at that. Like that might
it can't be a compliment when you bring that one out.
That might keep them up. We don't know. But what about you? Bournemouth is my 20th place team.
Bournemouth is down there for me. I'm not going to reveal where I have them, but they're not quite at the bottom for me. The team that I'm choosing is a little bit out there. We've already discussed sort of the teams that we've been choosing. You're like, wow. We didn't really go into too much detail. We only did the first couple of the relegation battle, but I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with the team that I initially chose, being Nottingham Forest.
Wow.
No, but see, I know this is what you said last time, but right, I don't believe that they have what it takes to even scratch into that 19th place for the season. I really don't. I don't think that they have the firepower. Watching them this season has not been flattering, and I don't think that it's going to turn around. It's a personal, opinion. It's not a hatred towards Nottingham Forest. It's not a hatred towards any of their players. Big ups to all of them, and I hope they do well this season. Not better than Brighton, but I hope they do well this season. Right? I only have one goal in mind in regards to bias, but I do think Nottingham Forest will be going down, and I think they'll be the first to go down. But that's my personal opinion. What is your second team to be relegated? Your 19th place team, the one that maybe they could have gotten out, maybe, but they didn't.
Maybe. My 19th place team, second to bottom, is team that actually just sacked their manager this today, I think. So we got 2 sacked managers in the bottom 2. It is Wolverhampton Wanderers.
The Wanderers. Wow.
Yes. They're going
to be wandering down to the championship.
Yes, exactly. They've always been like decent, I feel like, in the Premier League, especially their first couple seasons in the top flight after the championship, where they were finishing, around that top 8 area. But this year, I don't really see them pushing on much. I think their striker situation has really hurt them in the past couple years. And then this year, they're bringing in Diego Costa, which is like, that could work. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's one of those where you have some questions.
If he bangs in a couple of goals, I'm not going to be surprised, but I would be surprised if he personally saves them from relegation this year. Raul Jimenez has not really cut it after his big injury. And then, I think defensively, they've always been good, but can't really rely on scoring maybe like 10 goals all season as a team.
It's really not what you want.
It's really not.
It's clearly not going to cut it.
The recipe for survival does not really fit in that frame. But so that's why I went with Wolves as the 19th place team. I don't think they're going to be the worst, but I think it's going to be a really tough one for them.
They're not your Nottingham Forest, but it's a tough round for them.
Yeah.
It's a tough year. My 19th is a fruit. I'll give you that. They are a fruitful team.
Oh,
they are the Cherries. And I don't feel that they will be doing very well this season. I love myself a bit of Bournemouth. I really do. I think they have a fantastic setup as a club. Really, it is a team that you've got to support. You can't hate on Bournemouth. They do have a very solid club. They've built a team, if you look back into the archives, 2016, 2015, they were much lower in the English league system. So they really have built a team over time that is one of the English giants. Now, not saying English giants is in like top 6, but an English giant is in top 30, because we do respect all of those teams that are frequently in the Premier League. But I don't think that they have the capacity to stay up, and I think part of that is their lack in popularity. They have a really small stadium. They're not going to bring a lot in ticket revenue. They don't usually make that much of a statement in the transfer window. And so I don't really feel that they're going to have the firepower to stay up. Again, they could. I do feel they have a good hunger and passion as a squad, but I just don't think that they quite have that firepower. So they're not in 20th for me, but they are in 19th. Big ups to the Cherries, though. They're a fruitful squad, and I do think that there is a chance that they do higher, or they can make it higher in the Premier League than I predicted them, but obviously I have to put them down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So two promoted teams for your bottom two.
Yes. I do have a theme.
Oh.
Well,
really?
No, the last team isn't, but I mean a theme is in a general theme.
Okay. All right. My third relegated team is a team you've already said as well. It is Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, we both agree on that one, don't we?
But I'm putting a little bit more respect on their name.
You do. You slapped a bit more up there.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be dead last with the amount of signings they made.
Acting as if I'm some crazy person for putting them down there.
I think it is. I think it's a crazy decision. I think 2 places above, though, is just right.
You think it's a sweet spot?
Yeah. I think they're going to be in a battle the whole year, and I don't think they're going to win that battle.
Scratching and clawing.
Yeah, and the teams, right above them, I think, will do the same. But firstly, who rounds out your 3 relegated teams for this season?
Now, I was watching a short documentary, you could say, a couple of days ago. And no, this is serious. You gotta listen.
But you don't finish documentaries usually.
What? This is true. I did finish this one. It was about 10 minutes. So I had a bit of a longer attention span for this one because I knew it was going to be over relatively quickly. but it was a motivational documentary about some team in 2016 that was absolutely fantastic. I was watching it before a game as well, and it just really got me going. It was making me feel good about the possibilities for my team's season and all of that. And it was about, if you can't already guess, Leicester City and their incredible run to becoming Premier League champions in, I think it was 2016, 17 or 17, 18. No, 16, 17, yeah. And it was inspirational just to see all of the goals, all of the passion again. And so it really hurts me to do this. But I do think Leicester's going down. I don't think they have a strong enough defense. I don't think they have a strong enough squad to stay up. And it really hurts me to say that because this would be the first time that they would be going down since that historic season. It would be the first time that they've really struggled in a long period of time since that historic season. You know, we've always seen them in that upper echelon of Premier League teams, sometimes even inching their way into the Europa League and other places like that. So seeing them so far down this year definitely does hurt a little bit, as they are a team that we all have sort of gotten onto the back of and said, come on, let's go. We all support you because, you know, they've on top of doing that, they've had some hardships, you know, losing their owner and whatnot over the past couple of years. So it is a team that generally people do support. But unfortunately, I don't think that they have the squad depth to stay in the Premier League this season. So they do round out my relegated 3 and finish it up with Leicester City, Bournemouth, and Nottingham Forest.
Okay, Nottingham Forest, Wolves, and Bournemouth for me. So 2 out of the 3 are the same.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's one team different, but it's very respectable. And you're going to see with my 17th pick, I'll just run right into it, that I do have a like mind. I do. So I don't think they're wandering into the championship, but I do think they're wandering into a bit of trouble this season. As, like you said, they really struggle scoring goals. They don't really have the best of attacks, and that is Wolverhampton Wanderers. I just don't feel like they're going to be able to cut it in the Premier League. That being said, I think they're going to be able to cut it a little bit more than the other 3 teams that I put them into the relegation 3, into the relegated 3. But I do think they're going to come in 17th, 17th. I was going to say 18th, but then I realized, no, 17th. And I think they're going to be just above the bottom 3. What is your 17th pick?
My 17th, sadly, is Leeds United.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Brighton for a second. I was like, there's no way. No. There's absolutely no chance.
I could never do that. No. It's
we have a truce here.
Leeds United States of America.
Oh, that's class.
I think Jesse Marsh will do just enough. They've had a decent start to the season, but I don't think, you know, they're going to be pushing for top half of the table at all, and I think they will drop off at some point, but I think they're good enough to stay up, especially with the 3 teams I mentioned below them. But I couldn't relegate them. I couldn't do it.
It's
just as a
it's
US
in the heart
fan,
as an American.
Yeah, you can't do it. It's possible, but I couldn't do it. So I have them right above the relegation zone, with Leicester actually right above them after that. So, you know, in the picture, as you had them relegated, I had them just above, and I think they'll, you know, be amongst it, but I think they're a big enough club where it's like, oh, they're not going to get relegated, you know. They have the ownership, they have, you know, James Maddison still. They have a decent squad. I think maybe time for Brendan Rodgers to leave the club. Maybe they need a new manager for a new spark. But yeah, I have Leeds and then Leicester right above the relegation zone.
There you go. Well, I am not an entirely similar man to you. I don't have Leeds right above the relegation zone with Wolves. I do think that Leeds will be able to pull off, well, if you're looking at my table, an absolute madness. But right above, I have a team that, in my opinion, wouldn't be able to survive in Major League Soccer. Now, I have personal experience with this because I have seen things with my own eyes in person, not just on television, that makes me believe maybe they wouldn't be able to survive in Major League Soccer, but it's Everton. Now, me and Mac were both at the Everton game when they lost to
Very
Minnesota
fair,
United.
yeah.
An absolute slaughtering of the Merseyside team.
Yes.
I mean, Minnesota United dismantled them in every way, shape, and form. But even though it was preseason for them, and we were in the midst of our regular season, I still think it's unacceptable the way they performed, and I don't think that they have enough squad depth, talent, or just overall acumen to win enough games in this Premier League season. You know, they did sign some players, James Tarkowski, a few others, but I don't feel it's enough.
Okay. I could see that. I could see how you said that.
I like this debate. It's respectful.
Yeah, but I also, as you have Leeds higher up the table, I also have Everton higher up the table as well. So a bit of a mismatch there.
We
not
do
too
have a
far,
mismatch
though.
there. No, it's not. It's not something I need to argue with you about.
No.
You know, it doesn't really get on the nerves quite yet.
No.
But, I mean, we're going to have to see how it progresses throughout the rest of the table.
There might be some ridiculous positions here.
Some ridiculousness
We'll have to see.
might be emerging.
But
I think
should
the
we
real
move on?
question is where you put the goals. And obviously, it's a waiting game for me. But every position is a bit happier.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say honestly, 17th to about 14th, 13th is
It's a toss-up.
It's a bit of a jumble. I could see any of those teams finishing anywhere.
Honestly, we should just whip. So we're on.
That's what I'm saying.
We're on
yeah.
15. Let's go 15 through 11 right now. Just list them off. Because it's not like...
So is that the next...
It's not huge whether you get 13th or 12th. Like, no one really, pays attention to that. You know what I mean? What's the difference? Maybe a little bit of money from the FA. Oh, you finished one place higher. Like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
So just,
So
list
next
off
5?
15 through 11. Just those 4 or 5, yeah, I guess.
Okay. Next, above Leicester, I have Southampton. You know, don't have to say much.
And that's your 15th team.
Yeah, we always finish there. Right above them, I have Aston Villa. I think also not very impressive so far this season, but I think they are picking up a little bit of form at the minute. Right above them, we do have Brighton. My opinion on this has kind of changed after the 3-3 draw at Anfield yesterday, which was quite impressive. But I don't have a lot of faith. I had a lot of faith in Graham, but Graham is gone.
You're not an RDZ guy?
Not quite yet. But it's convinced me a little bit with the Trossard hat
You see
trick.
the passion? The
I
passion
did.
after the game?
No,
It was like,
that's great. That's great. You love to see it. But I do have them there, and then above them I have Fulham, who have had a great start to the season. I think, again, they'll drop off a little bit, but very respectable position to stay in the Premier League after being newly promoted. And then the last one is West Ham United, who had quite an awful start to the season, we should say. But, I think kind of like the Leicester team, I think they're a big enough club where they'll definitely pick up some form at some point. But I think they started off so bad that they won't really be climbing into those Conference League, Europa League type of positions this season. So what about you for the next 5 teams?
I had a few that were similar to you. Obviously, a
Okay.
few that weren't so similar. You just have to. I have to, not respect some of the decisions you made. But in 15th, we have just absolute scum. Just Crystal Palace. We're not a huge fan of those guys over at the Palace. I'm not. I don't really feel like they're great. Nothing special.
Not a
about
Zaha,
them. No.
Vieira,
No.
Eze.
I mean, I respect Eze. I think he's a quality player, but there's no class around him. I mean, it's just it's all just it's
Incredible take there.
It's a shambles over there.
So you wouldn't take? Is Eze the only player
No,
you take?
I wouldn't take anyone except for Eze. I wouldn't even take Patrick Vieira in his prime.
Wow. I feel like a lot of Brighton fans would have to agree with you as well on that.
Yeah, it's a common
It's a common
agreement.
opinion there.
It's a common opinion. I don't know why. It just happens to be.
It's just, the quality just isn't there.
Yeah, it's not. It's just not there.
Okay.
In 14th, I have West Ham, the Hammers. I don't think that they're very quality, so I'm just putting them there. I think they're all right.
Declan Rice isn't making the Brighton
No,
team.
he's been poor, low key. Like if we're gonna be honest, he's not been very good at the beginning of the
whole
season.
team hasn't. To be fair, so it's
so
kind of tough,
I don't really think he's that good right now. I'm not gonna dog on him. He's a class player. He's insane actually, but the beginning of the season's been poor, and it's not showing me any promise for the rest of it. So putting them in 14th and 13th, we have Jesse Marsh's Leeds making a very good run. 13th is a place that Brighton occupies frequently. So I'm loving to see that Leeds are also making strides into that spot.
That's great.
In 12th, we have Aston Villa. Haven't seen the most from them, but I do respect them as a team. I do think they have a lot of possibilities and talent on their squad. So I'm excited to see what they can do for this season. And in 11th, we have the Southampton Saints. I mean, what a place that is for them. Yeah,
11th is insane.
Quality squad.
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if you guys made Champions League.
Wow. Okay.
No, I'm kidding. But I do think you guys... No, I'm kidding. They're actually in my relegation. Yeah. No. But I do think Southampton have a really... I have a connection to them. I think they have passion. I really like the team. I just love the hunger they bring to games. And JWP is an absolute masterclass. I mean, if we're being honest.
Get him on the plane.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If JWP isn't on the plane, he's going to be more rested and ready to go. So there are pros and cons.
There's a bit of a trade-off. I wonder what
Ralph's probably writing something to Gareth saying, well, he's got a hurt ankle. He might not be able to play.
I think it's a real possibility. Ralph is a bit of a trickster. In that sense.
He's got him all up his sleeve.
Yeah. I think he'll send that out to pretty much every international player that we have.
The whole Southampton team is just training
squad.
through the whole month and a half.
I think that would give an advantage, though.
Oh, yeah. You guys just win the Prem.
Yeah. I think
we
would finish 11th.
You will.
Yeah. Okay.
You
will.
will.
All right, who's above? Who's above?
All right, I'm going 10 through... Let's go 10 through 7 now. No, 7's Conference League, so let's go 10 through 8. Yeah? Okay. I'll go first. My 10th place team is one that I feel has a very streaky team. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. But I do feel they're more often up than down. That's why I put them on the top side of the table. They're in the middle, but they're on the top side of the middle. And that is Brentford. I think they're solid. I think they're a very good team. I think that they have possibilities to go even higher than that this season, but I'm being relatively conservative with them. They're not super reliable in my opinion, so I'm not going to put all my chips on them to be higher than that. They're not like the Goals. They're not like some of those other teams you see that often put in really solid performances week in, week out. So I'm putting them in 10th, but it's respectable. 9th, we have Fulham. Now, Mitrovic is just a baller. He's a baller. I just don't know any other way to say it.
Yeah.
It's just, Brian, we know you're a super fan of the podcast. If you're listening to this, which I would hope that you are, and I would assume that you are, you should know I believe Mitrovic is an absolute tank. He's a menace. He's just good. Like, the word good in the dictionary is Mitrovic. So, that's why I'm putting them.
Where would he rank in top Premier League strikers this season?
Top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah, 100% top 5. You can't put him in one spot, but top 5.
Well, no, I think we know who's won.
Yeah,
the man who already has like Danny 14 Welbeck. Goals. Yeah.
But no, he's definitely top.
It was on everyone's mind.
Yeah, Danny's just on the mind at all times. I mean, did you see the quality that he put into the game this weekend? I mean, he was involved in every Trossard goal. I mean, he was getting on the ball left and right. It was truly magnificent.
He was responsible for all of them. Even though
I'm not kidding though. I pull up Instagram. They put a highlight video out. The first comment that's got like 400 likes. Danny Welbeck was involved in every single goal. Look at the quality he brings to the team.
It's undeniable.
He's class.
Yeah.
It is. He's class. He's just it's who he is. He lives and breathes and eats quality. All right. Now my 8th place team.
Conference League.
Mbappe. No. This isn't Conference League. I think 7th.
Yeah, 8th is.
8th, really?
8th is Conference. 7th is Europa, and then 5th and 6th. Or wait.
Yeah. See, 5th and 6th Europa, 7th Conference.
But why did Leicester get?
Because of domestic cups. If you win an FA Cup and you're not and you already if you win an FA Cup or a Carabao and you're already qualified to the Champions League, you have to move it down.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
that's why they got it. All right.
Yeah.
So possibly
a possible European team, but not guaranteed.
No.
Newcastle United, Mbappe United. Even though Mbappe's not there, I would call them Mbappe United due to the rumors that were spreading over the past few years. Yes. Money United, Oil United, Oil FC, whatever you want to call them. Oil United FC. There's so many different names that you could use.
Yeah.
But I do think that they have a very solid team this year, and I think that it's going to propel them to a very solid season. That's just my opinion on that.
All right, so going back down to 10th for me, I have Everton. You had them a bit lower. I have them higher. I think, I don't know, I like what I'm seeing from them right now.
This is so interesting. I mean, we were there.
Yeah, I don't have the biggest confidence in Frank as a manager, but I feel like the team's playing a bit inspired at the minute. Everton, I could definitely see getting relegated. I could also see him finishing as high as 10th.
That is an outrageous statement.
But that's Frank,
No, but it is. Frank just
he could string some results. He could string some results together, and you just be like, why are they in the top 10? Or he could,
lose every single game.
Yep. And then you just be like, yeah, that's Frank. You're like, yeah. I'm not surprised. But I have
how I describe Frank?
Yeah.
A teeter-totter in space.
Mm.
Zero gravity teeter-totter. You don't know where it's going to go. Where's the momentum moving? No one knows. But wherever it moves, it's moving. So that's my metaphor of the day.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The metaphor of the day right there, people. 9th place is the Palace of Crystal Palace.
They're scum. How? I don't understand this. Above Brighton as well. That is so disrespectful.
I really like their squad personally. Bit of Joachim Andersen. I like Vieira as the gaffer. Zaha is playing probably one of his best seasons in a while. As a great player.
Take Zaha at Forest Green.
They're finishing 9th. They're having a great season. I think if they had Conor Gallagher, you'd be talking about cheeky European football for them. But they don't have Conor Gallagher, and so they're not. But the first, I believe, same position, final position for that matches both of our lists is Newcastle.
Wow, Oil FC.
8th. Yeah, we both have them at 8th, which I think is,
it goes to show something.
Yeah,
you've got two experts putting them in the exact same position.
Just know if they don't finish 8th, something happened. Something was wrong.
It was off the field. It
had to be.
I mean, there was some sort of interference that happened.
There was definitely some corruption somewhere in the Premier League if they do not finish.
The FA's against us, though.
Yeah,
we already know.
They'll listen in and they'll be like, "There's no way they both had him at 8, so they can't finish 8th. We have to do something." But yes, 8th place, possible European football, possible. We don't know.
Indeed.
But now moving up into the guaranteed European positions is, do we want to go before
Just
top 4?
Just go one at a time, back and forth, yeah.
Up until top 4, or?
Ooh, true. Actually, yeah. You do your 7, 6, and 5, and I'll do that, and then we'll go, and then we'll bounce. Boom, 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 boom.
All right. So in 7th, I have Brentford FC with a flying season, one of the best, if not, I believe the best.
The bees do fly.
In their history. They are going to be doing very well this season. 7th place, European football. Shades of Burnley when they were in the Europa League a couple of years ago. You know, they will be the best of the rest outside of the Big Six this year. And I really like their squad, and I really like how they've been playing. And I think they definitely deserve 7th place. They're just a likable squad, a likable club.
They are. The bees are likable.
I would be surprised to meet someone who hates Brentford, you know. I think they're just a very likable team, the way they play. I think Thomas Frank, great manager. So yeah, for me, 7th place for Brentford. And then moving into the Big Six, the top 6. The worst of the Big Six is Chelsea for me this year. Graham Potter, big fan. Chelsea-wise, not quite convinced. So I believe Chelsea, 6th place, Europa League, will be somewhat acceptable for Graham Potter for this season at least, moving into next season. But 5th place, right outside of Champions League, I have Liverpool finishing outside the top 4. I'm not quite convinced with Klopp this season, and their whole team seems a bit down. Salah just really isn't doing much of anything. I think they're going to be the most disappointing team of the year, but still 5th place. You know, I feel like every other team would take 5th place. That isn't above them, but definitely not acceptable for how good they've been the past couple of years, and we've seen that so far this season. So I have them outside the Champions League, and that finishes out my 5th place. What about you?
I have a very, very similar decision-making process to you. Just really, really similar. So yes, we did have very similar picks, but one of them was different. And that one that was different was my 7th place position. Brentford could not physically be there for me. Instead, if you haven't noticed, I haven't said the goals yet.
Oh,
so wow. I have to put the goals in there. I mean, it's respectable. They're not in the top 6, the proper European competitions, but I do think they might get that Conference League spot. I really respect with Danny Welbeck, you know, Leandro Trossard, McAllister. These are really solid players. I mean, these are players that match up against really anyone in the world, if you're being honest. So, I mean, they're the cream of the crop.
It's bold, for sure.
They're the cream of the crop. So.
Okay.
So, you know, I put them in that 7th place position. I think they're going to do really well. And that 3-3 tie against Liverpool in the RDZ era really solidified that for me. I do believe, it just did. I believe that we're able to continue our form. I don't even know if it was entirely Potter. I mean, it was.
I think it was.
So let me stand correct myself. let me explain myself real quick.
Last episode we were talking about how the whole team is Potter and like you're gonna get relegated.
Okay. Talk about a change of scenery. But okay, so I do believe that Potter had a enormous impact on the team. I do. That being said, I think his impact lives on past his actual presence in the changing room, his actual presence in the club. So I don't think it's entirely him needing to be there. He fostered, he basically, you know, he raised the child.
Yes.
But now the child's turned 18. The child's leaving.
Okay.
And spreading its wings and going to do its own thing.
The child has wings?
It's a metaphor. You got the metaphor of the day. I'm giving you 2. You got
the seagull, the child seagull.
Exactly. There you go. It's a seagull. They're spreading its wings. Potter has nursed the baby seagull. Now the baby seagull is spreading its wings and flying, and Potter's now moving to like a lion or some sort of animal that Chelsea Football Club represents. Yes. But I think RDZ is a good tactician. I do. I'm not super understanding of like what he's doing. I don't really know. But we just kind of played Potter ball against Liverpool. We didn't really play anything different.
I think it's fair. It's a bit too early to implement the new tactics.
And if he really tries to change it, I'm going to have words with him. Obviously, I like the football we play. So
in the ring.
I'm probably gonna call him up, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, De Zerbi he's probably in my phone book if we're being realistic. He did inquire about an interview, so
he did. Yeah.
But I think that the goals have properly been fostered to be able to play football without Potter, but still play Potter ball. It will always be remembered as Potter ball. So for that reason, I put them in 7th. Now in 6th and 5th, I put the exact same thing as you. Like
there it is.
Like I mean, just point for point. Chelsea, then Liverpool. I mean, I'm not seeing it from either. Thiago Silva at 39 is carrying Chelsea. I mean, just putting him on his back.
It should not be happening.
No, not at all. I mean, you're just putting stress on the man at this point.
He's too old for this.
He really is. He needs to go and relax on a beach at this point in time. So you've got to ask questions of the whole Chelsea squad for that one. And Liverpool, I mean, I understand Brighton's a phenomenal team, but come on, man. You've got to be putting in a better performance than that. I mean, that's just poor. So, yeah, I mean, it's similar from us. Now, I'll move us to the 4th place team. I do wonder if we're going to have just a clean sweep out for the top 6.
I would be surprised if you have something different. I'd be very surprised.
It's very possible. So my 4th place team, and this is probably the most questionable that I really think could be questioned, is Tottenham. And so by seeing your face, I think we might have something different now. Because really, between 4th and 3rd, in my opinion, is between Man U and Tottenham. Who's gonna finish higher?
I agree.
And I went. I just know we're on the waves, but we're just slightly off.
Yeah.
So 4th place is Tottenham. I think they're a great team. I think they're doing well, but I don't think they're going to have that 3rd place position. 1st and 2nd for me are really solidified at this point in time. So yeah, that's what I'm picking. There's not much else to say for it. I think they're good. You know, Harold, Hyung. You've got some really solid players in there. Kulu. I think they're good. I don't think they're good enough, though, to get higher than that. That's just my opinion. What about you?
I went for a little switch there. I went for Manchester United 4th, Tottenham 3rd.
Yep. So we both have that, just the switcheroo, the swapperoo.
Yes. And, I think Manchester United, we saw them get a bit embarrassed today in the Manchester derby, but I believe, they're definitely good enough from what I've seen. Even if the football is not quite pretty, 4th place is definitely acceptable for them. I think Tottenham are just a better squad, and I think Antonio Conte has the culture around the team more than Ten Hag does at Man U, and I think that'll push them over the line to get 3rd. And then finally, Arsenal, and then Manchester City. Doesn't really need to be said. Quite obviously the 2 best teams in the league so far.
I am in agreement.
Yeah. I think Manchester City are easily the best team in the league. Arsenal,
Erling Haaland is easily the best team in the league.
I think they're, Erling Haaland, pretty much.
I mean, if we're being completely honest, the Kevin De Bruyne Erling Haaland link up is absolute gravy.
It should be illegal.
The FA should be stepping in.
They need to be stepping in. You can't have 2 of the best players in the league together playing that. No,
but it's not even that. It's like the way they complement each other is just outstanding. It's insane. I mean, you've got Zhao and De Bruyne. I mean, feeding to Haaland. Like, I don't understand it. Imagine being Erling Haaland right now. Like, oh hey, I'll just header. Oh yeah, and I'll just tap that one in. Oh, now let me hit a bicycle kick. Like, some of his goals are insane. Some of them aren't. But he's getting the service regardless.
You must think it's got to be 30 plus goals in the Premier League this season.
I was thinking on the bus back from, we were in Odessa, Texas. So I was thinking on the bus back from Odessa, quite a long bus ride. I was like, is he going to break Messi's calendar year? Like, I know it's bold, right?
It is a bold.
It's really bold. But I was looking at the numbers, and if he continues, he actually will.
Yeah, I mean, 14 is it right now already? And, I think 30 is definitely easily obtainable for him in the Premier League.
But we're 7 games in, man.
Yeah, and you have to account for Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, and those are 3 other competitions where maybe he'll get rotated a little more. But I feel like when it comes down to it, he's still going to start or at least play a somewhat majority of those games, especially in the Champions League where it's eluded them a bit in their history to get that Champions League trophy. I feel like this year Pep's going to go full strength for pretty much every game in that tournament. So I think it's definitely possible. I don't know about 91 or however many that was for Messi
It was
in
91
one year.
in a calendar year.
I think it will be...
It's incredibly difficult to break, obviously.
Yes.
It's not. It's actually not. It's almost impossible to break, if not impossible.
91 just doesn't happen.
It doesn't. That being said, if someone had a gun to my head and said you have to choose a player on this planet to do that right now, Erling Haaland is my guy.
There's no doubt.
Like he's
There's
just
no
my
other
guy.
option. Yeah.
Talk about a robbery. FIFA giving him an 88 rating and Mbappe like 91. It's outrageous.
Yeah. It is. And I think easily the most effective player for his team in the world right now. We'll just have to see. I mean, man, this team is looking like one of the best
dangerous
Man City teams ever, which would make them one of the best teams ever in the Premier League. But Arsenal, you have to give respect to. I think they're still miles off of City's level, but I think they're easily the second best team, pretty solidly in the Premier League. And you have to give respect to Arteta. He's ridden the wave of like hate when he first came into the club, and now he's thought of as one of the best managers in the league.
It is true.
It is respectable, and they're also a very likable team for me. So
yeah.
We have a lot of differences.
We have some discrepancies, but also
Yeah.
some similarities as we get higher and
Yeah.
higher up the table. That does conclude our Premier League 22-23 rankings and predictions for this season. If you didn't know already, number 1 for me and Mac, number 1 and 2, should we say, was City and Arsenal. And the other one that we agreed on, or the other ones that we agreed on, were Newcastle in 8th, Chelsea in 6th, and Liverpool in 5th. A lot of other discrepancies around the ground, especially in regards to the Palace versus Brighton debate. But, it's all fun and games. It really is.
It is.
And we're just going to have to see how it goes throughout the season, how these teams do throughout the season. And we're just super excited to watch it unfold. So make sure that you have a great rest of your week. You're able to watch some footy. And we will see you guys next week with another podcast. Right now, things are so up in the air with interviews, so we apologize about that. They're just really there's not much we can do when the schedules are this crazy, but we are really working hard to try and get you guys some interviews. Regardless of when they come, they are coming in the future. We just don't know the exact time, but we're super excited to get back to doing that. We have a lot of people who have reached out and inquired to us about doing them, and we have a lot of people that we've reached out to. So we have a pretty big running list of people we want to get on the podcast to share their story with you guys, but just be patient. They will come out soon. We just got to find some time to get those done and get them out to you. But until then, and until next week, hopefully you have a great week, and peace.